Have you ever wondered what happens in the jungle when nobody is looking? When the moon is full and the stars twinkle their brightest, something magical stirs beneath the ancient canopy. A secret so wonderful that only the bravest explorers ever discover it. Deep in the heart of the greenest jungle, where sunlight filtered through leaves like golden fingers, lived a small monkey with eyes full of questions. This little monkey was curious about everything. Why the sky changed colors, how birds flew so high, and why bananas weren't purple instead of yellow. One particularly warm morning, while swinging near an old banyan tree, the small monkey noticed something unusual. A beautiful butterfly with wings that shimmered like rainbows was fluttering in desperate circles, clearly troubled about something. "Are you lost?" the small monkey called out, hanging upside down from a vine. The butterfly hovered closer. "Not lost, but worried. I must find the secret garden. The flowers there provide the sweetest nectar, and all butterflies gather there once a year. But I've never been before, and I have no one to show me the way." The small monkey's eyes widened with excitement. Whispers of a magical garden hidden somewhere in the jungle had even reached the monkey's ears, but no one the monkey knew had ever seen it. "I'll help you find it," declared the small monkey, thumping a tiny chest with pride. The butterfly's wings fluttered with renewed hope. The garden is said to lie beyond the whispering waterfall, past the sleeping stones, and through the tunnel of tall trees. The small monkey scratched a fuzzy head. This sounded like the greatest adventure ever, but also the most difficult. Help would definitely be needed. Their first stop was the riverbank, where the wisest and oldest elephant in the jungle was cooling off, spraying water across a wrinkled back. "Do you know where to find the secret garden?" the small monkey asked, bouncing excitedly from foot to foot. The wise elephant's eyes twinkled mysteriously. "The secret garden appears only once a year, when the moon is full and jungle flowers reach their peak beauty. A long trunk pointed toward the distant mountains. Begin at the whispering waterfall. Listen carefully there. The water itself will tell you where to go next." Thanking the elephant, the small monkey and the butterfly set off toward the waterfall. Along the way, they encountered a magnificent tiger stretched out on a sun-warmed rock. "Where are you two rushing to?" the tiger asked with a curious yawn. "We seek the secret garden," the small monkey explained. The tiger's whiskers twitched with interest. "That's quite the dangerous journey. The path is tricky and filled with challenges. Perhaps you could use my help. I know these jungle trails better than most." The small monkey and butterfly gratefully accepted. Now, 3 adventurers continued the quest. When they reached the whispering waterfall, they stood in silence, listening intently. At first, all they heard was the thunderous splash of water. But then, as the afternoon sun pierced the mist, creating a perfect rainbow, something magical happened. Soft whispers became audible. "Follow the rainbow. Find the stones that sleep." "We must find the sleeping stones next," the butterfly said, wings quivering with excitement. The tiger nodded. "I believe I know where they are. Follow me." Leading the way through dense undergrowth, the tiger brought them to a clearing where 7 large, round stones sat in a perfect circle. They resembled sleeping animals, curled up peacefully in the dappled sunlight. As they wondered what to do next, they spotted a slow-moving sloth hanging from a nearby branch, watching them through half-closed eyes.
"Can you help us?" the butterfly called. "We're searching for the tunnel of tall trees." The sloth smiled lazily. "You're very close. But first, the sleeping stones must be awakened. Only then will they reveal the path forward." "Awakened? "They're just stones," the small monkey said, confused. The sloth shook a furry head. "Not exactly. Watch." And with that, the sloth began to sing a soft, slow melody that seemed as ancient as the jungle itself. To everyone's amazement, the stones began to glow with a soft blue light. One by one, the stones illuminated a hidden path leading into a part of the jungle that seemed darker and more mysterious than anywhere they had been before. "That's the way to the tunnel of tall trees," the sloth explained. "Be careful in there. The tunnel can confuse even the most experienced jungle dwellers. Stay together and trust each other." Heeding this warning, the three friends followed the glowing path. Soon they found themselves in a natural tunnel formed by ancient trees whose trunks stretched so high that their tops vanished from sight. The trees had grown so close together that their branches intertwined overhead, creating a canopy so thick that little light penetrated. Inside the tunnel, darkness surrounded them and the path split in many directions. "Which way now?" the small monkey asked, feeling a shiver of fear. The tiger sniffed the air. "I smell flowers coming from the left path." But the butterfly fluttered uncertainly. "I feel a gentle breeze from the right path. That might lead us outside." As they debated, a soft hooting came from above. Looking up, they saw a wise old owl perched on a branch, large eyes gleaming in the darkness. "Lost, are we?" the owl asked. "We're trying to find the secret garden," the butterfly explained. The owl blinked knowingly. "You're very close, but the tunnel of tall trees is designed to test visitors. To find your way, you must each use your special talents together." The friends looked at each other. The small monkey could climb and swing better than anyone. The tiger had an incredible sense of smell. The butterfly could fly high and see things from above. "I have an idea," the small monkey said. "Can you fly up through the branches and look for the garden?" This was asked of the butterfly. The butterfly squeezed through a small opening in the canopy and disappeared. While waiting, the tiger continued sniffing. The flower scent definitely grows stronger down the left path. Soon the butterfly returned. "I saw it. There's a clearing not far from here with the most beautiful flowers imaginable. But we need to take the middle path, not the left or right." This was puzzling since the tiger was sure the scent came from the left. Remembering the owl's advice about combining their talents, the small monkey proposed a plan. "You follow the scent down the left path," the monkey told the tiger. "You guide us from above," this was said to the butterfly, "and I'll climb up and down to help coordinate between you both." Working together, they navigated the twisting tunnel. Sometimes the path would seem to disappear entirely, but the tiger's nose or the butterfly's aerial view would help them find it again. The small monkey scrambled between trees and vines, relaying information between the ground and the canopy. Finally, after what seemed like hours of teamwork, they emerged into a clearing bathed in golden sunset light. Before them stretched the most magnificent garden any of them had ever seen. Flowers of every imaginable color bloomed everywhere, some taller than the tiger, others tiny and delicate like fallen stars. Butterflies of all patterns and hues danced among the blossoms, and the air was sweet with fragrant nectar. "We found it!" the butterfly exclaimed, wings shimmering with joy. As they entered the garden, they were greeted by countless butterflies who welcomed their new friend. The small monkey and tiger were honored as special guests for their help in the journey. A magnificent butterfly with wings of deepest blue approached them. This was clearly the butterfly queen, her presence commanding respect from all garden creatures. "Welcome, jungle friends," the butterfly queen said. "For helping one of our own find our sacred garden, you may each make a wish that the garden will grant." The tiger wished for the jungle to remain wild and protected forever. The butterfly wished for safe journeys for all winged creatures. And the small monkey, after thinking carefully, wished for the wisdom to keep learning and discovering the jungle secrets. As the sun set completely, painting the sky in breathtaking shades of pink and orange, the butterfly queen told them they could return to the garden when it reappeared next year. "Remember," she said, the path might change, but if you work together and use your unique gifts, you will always find your way back. That night, as the small monkey returned to the banyan tree home, gazing up at the stars through the leaves, a smile spread across the little furry face. New friends had been made and a magical place discovered that few had ever seen. But most importantly, a valuable lesson had been learned. The greatest adventures are those shared with friends, and every creature has special talents that, when combined, can overcome any obstacle. And so, as the jungle settled into night, with the tiger returning to a hidden den, the butterfly resting on a flower petal in the secret garden, and the small monkey curling up in a cozy nest, they all dreamed of their next adventure together in the magical jungle they called home.
Did you ever wonder what would happen if you followed a trail of moonlight through the jungle? They say that once every 100 years, when the jungle falls silent and the moon shines its brightest, a hidden path appears that leads to wonders beyond imagination. The youngest elephant in the herd couldn't sleep. While the others rested peacefully under the vast canopy of stars, the little elephant kept staring at the strange silver line cutting through the jungle floor. It wasn't there yesterday. It wasn't there this morning. But now, under the full moon's glow, it shimmered like flowing water, inviting anyone brave enough to follow. Against all the warnings about wandering at night, the little elephant took one cautious step onto the silvery path. The ground felt cool and tingled against each footpad. One step became 2, then 3, and soon the sleeping herd was far behind. "Where do you think you're going at this hour?" came a voice from above. Looking up, the little elephant spotted a colorful parrot with feathers that gleamed even in the darkness. "I'm following the moon path," the little elephant replied. "Don't you see it?" The parrot tilted its head curiously. "A moon path? Oh, it's happening again!" The bird's eyes widened with excitement. Once every 100 years, the ancient spirits create a path for those with pure hearts. It leads to the heart of the jungle. "What's the heart of the jungle?" the little elephant asked. The parrot fluttered down to a lower branch. "A place where the jungle shares its deepest secrets. My great-great-great-great-grandmother told stories about it. They say only the worthy can find it, and those who do return with gifts beyond measure." This sounded like the greatest adventure possible. "Will you come with me?" the little elephant asked. The parrot hesitated only briefly. "I've spent my whole life in these trees. Perhaps it's time to see what lies beyond." With a flutter of wings, the bird landed on the little elephant's back. "We must hurry. The path vanishes with the dawn." Together, they followed the glowing trail deeper into parts of the jungle neither of them had ever seen. The trees grew taller and closer together. Strange flowers bloomed at night, releasing sweet scents into the air. Luminous butterflies with wings like stained glass fluttered around them. Suddenly, the path split in 3 directions. "Which way?" the little elephant whispered. Before the parrot could answer, a low growl came from the underbrush. Out stepped a jaguar, its spotted coat shimmering with moonlight, eyes glowing like amber. The little elephant froze in fear. Everyone knew jaguars were the most dangerous predators in the jungle. "You're far from home, little one," the jaguar said, circling them slowly. "These paths are treacherous." "We're following the moon path to the heart of the jungle," the parrot explained, trying to sound brave despite trembling feathers. The jaguar stopped pacing. "The heart of the jungle? It appears only once every 100 years. "Do you know which path leads there?" the little elephant asked, still nervous but curious. The jaguar sat on its haunches, considering them both. I do. I've been waiting many seasons for the path to appear again, but the journey requires courage, wisdom, and kindness. Do you possess these qualities? The little elephant wasn't sure how to answer. The parrot spoke up instead. We won't know until we're tested, will we? But we're willing to try. This seemed to please the jaguar. Then I will join you. The right path is this one, it said, pointing with its nose to the middle trail. But beware, the jungle will test us before revealing its heart. Now, 3 unlikely companions continued along the glowing path. As they walked, the jungle around them transformed. The trees began to whisper in an ancient language. Flowers turned to face them as they passed. Even the night insects fell silent in their presence. They came to a wide, rushing river that cut across their path. The silvery trail continued on the other side, but the water moved too fast for safe crossing. Now what? The parrot asked, flying up to get a better view. There's no bridge, and the river stretches far in both directions. The jaguar paced along the shore. In the old stories, the jungle provides a way for the worthy. The little elephant approached the water's edge, trunk extended. The rushing water didn't seem normal. It sparkled with the same silver light as the path. Feeling brave, the little elephant dipped its trunk into the water. Immediately, the rushing current slowed directly in front of them. As they watched in amazement, stones rose from the riverbed, creating a pathway across the water. "The river is giving us away!" the parrot exclaimed. "You must go first," the jaguar told the little elephant. "It was your courage that revealed the crossing." Carefully, the little elephant stepped onto the first stone. It held firm. One by one, they crossed the magical stepping stones, the elephant moving cautiously, the parrot flying alongside, and the jaguar leaping gracefully from stone to stone. On the other side, the path grew brighter, as if excited by their progress. The jungle became denser, but somehow easier to navigate. Plants moved their branches aside, thorny bushes retracted their spikes. Even the ground seemed to smooth itself beneath their feet. The next challenge appeared as they entered a clearing where the path suddenly disappeared. In the center stood an ancient tree, its trunk wider than 10 elephants standing side by side. Its branches reached so high they seemed to touch the stars themselves. "The path is gone," the little elephant said, confused. The jaguar circled the massive tree. "This must be the guardian tree. The stories say it protects the entrance to the heart." The parrot flew up, inspecting the enormous trunk. "There are carvings here, symbols I've never seen before." The 3 gathered around the tree, studying the strange markings that spiraled up the trunk. There were images of animals, plants, stars, and shapes that seemed to move if you looked at them too long. "It's a puzzle," the jaguar said. "We must solve it to continue." They spent what felt like hours examining the carvings. The little elephant noticed that some symbols matched patterns in the stars above. The parrot realized that others represented different plants they had passed along their journey. The jaguar recognized ancient territory markings of jungle creatures. Working together, they began to understand. The elephant used its trunk to touch specific symbols in sequence, following the parrot's directions based on the star patterns. The jaguar confirmed each choice by its ancient knowledge. When they touched the final symbol, a rumbling sound came from deep within the earth. Slowly, the massive tree began to shift, its trunk splitting open to reveal a passage glowing with the same silver light as the path. "We did it!" the little elephant trumpeted excitedly. The 3 friends entered the passage within the tree. Inside was a spiral staircase made of roots and earth, leading downward. As they descended, the air grew warmer and filled with the most wonderful fragrances, like all the flowers of the jungle blooming at once. At the bottom of the staircase, they emerged into an underground cavern that took their breath away. The entire chamber glowed with soft light emanating from thousands of crystals embedded in the walls. In the center stood a small pool of water so clear it looked like liquid diamond. Above the pool floated a single orb of pure light, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. "The heart of the jungle," whispered the jaguar reverently. The three approached the pool. Within its depths, they could see images. The entire jungle from above, every creature, every plant, every drop of water connected in a vast living network. The floating orb of light spoke directly into their minds. "Few find their way to the heart. You three, so different from one another, succeeded because you combined your strengths. Courage, wisdom, and kindness have brought you here." The light brightened. "Each of you may drink from the pool and receive the jungle's gift." The elephant went first, dipping its trunk into the crystal water and taking a small sip. Immediately, a warm sensation spread throughout its body. The elephant suddenly understood the language of the trees, the whispers of the grass, the secrets the wind carried. The parrot dipped its beak into the pool next. After drinking, its feathers glowed with new colors, and it could see far beyond the jungle, to distant mountains and oceans never before glimpsed. The jaguar lapped at the water last. When it finished, its eyes gleamed with new wisdom, and it knew instinctively where every creature in the jungle was at that moment, which needed help, which were thriving. "You have received gifts suited to your hearts," the light told them. "Use them wisely. The jungle is one great being, and you are all its children." As the first hint of dawn approached, the three friends made their way back up the spiral staircase. Outside, the magical path had returned, guiding them home as the moon began to set. "Will we remember how to find this place?" the little elephant asked. "The path appears only once every 100 years, the jaguar said. "But what we learned here will stay with us always." The parrot settled once more on the elephant's back. "And we'll pass the story to those who come after us, so they might find it when the time comes again." By the time the sun rose fully, the three had returned to where their journey began. The silver path faded with the last of the moonlight. To anyone else, they might have seemed unchanged. Just a small elephant, a colorful parrot, and a proud jaguar meeting by chance in the morning light. But they were forever connected by their journey to the heart of the jungle. The little elephant returned to the herd with new understanding of the world around them. The parrot soared higher than ever before, bringing back stories of distant lands. The jaguar became a guardian of the weak, using its power to maintain balance in the jungle. And on nights when the moon was full, the three friends would meet at the ancient tree where they first began their adventure, sharing stories and watching the stars, waiting for the day, perhaps in another 100 years, when the silver path would appear once more. The end.
Have you ever tried to keep a big secret from your best friend? What if your secret could make their whole town disappear? Today, meet Labubu, the most curious toy in town, who just discovered a glowing, magical whistle hidden in his attic. But with one toot, everything might change. Who can he trust? And will his sleepy little town be safe? Labubu was a small, felt plush toy with mischievous eyes and a big heart, living on the highest shelf of a dusty attic above Toontown.
Every night, when the house was quiet, Labubu would sneak out of his drawer, check his secret hiding spots, and gaze at the moon through the attic window. His friends, Chibi, the little green rabbit, and Pookie, the pink cat, always asked him, "Labubu, why are you so nosy?" But Labubu just smiled and said, "A good adventure starts with a good question." One rainy evening, Labubu found a wooden box covered in cobwebs. Inside, sparkling under a flickering light, lay a strange brass whistle. Labubu couldn't resist. He blew the whistle just once. Suddenly, the whole attic started to tremble. Paintings on the walls started laughing, books flapped their pages like wings, and the floor vanished beneath him. In a flash, Labubu was floating in midair, staring at his own shadow, which now had a life of its own. Labubu landed in Shadow Town, a place where everything was made of smoky darkness. The only light came from the whistle around his neck. Here, the toys he thought he knew, Chibi, Pookie, even his own shadow, seemed unfamiliar, angry, and lost. A grumpy old oak tree stump, the mayor of Shadow Town, told him, "You blew the midnight whistle, Labubu. Now Toontown is fading, and only you can bring it back. But beware, the deeper you go, the more you'll forget who you really are." Labubu realized he was forgetting his own name. He had to make a choice, trust his instincts or listen to the whispering shadows who wanted him to stay forever. That's when he remembered what his wise friend Chibi had once told him. When you're lost, sometimes you have to believe in the stories you've heard, even if you can't see the ending. Guided by the glow of the whistle, Labubu started singing a lullaby he vaguely remembered. The shadows began to shiver, and slowly, bits of light appeared. Each time he sang, his memories of Toontown, its laughter, the smell of fresh crayons, the warmth of his friends, grew stronger. In a burst of courage, Labubu blew the whistle one last time, but this time with hope in his heart. The shadows scattered, the attic reappeared, and there sat Pookie and Chibi, blinking sleepily and wondering if they just had the same wild dream. Labubu hugged his friends tight, the whistle hidden safely in his pocket. Some secrets, he decided, are best kept, at least until the next adventure. And as for the town, well, that's another story. Maybe one you'll tell someday.
Have you ever seen morning dew glitter on a leaf and believed in magic? What if that drop of water remembered every wish you ever made, and one tiny adventure could set them all free? This is the story of Labubu, the toothy, big-eared forest elf, and the day he found a mysterious pink flower that could only be heard at midnight. One afternoon, in the heart of the enchanted forest, Labubu spotted something extraordinary, a flower unlike any other. Its petals were the color of dawn, and its leaves shimmered with faint, secret sparkles. Labubu's friends, Mokoko, Zimomo, and Chibi, didn't seem to notice the flower, but Labubu could feel a gentle hum coming from its center. Labubu leaned in close, so close that his furry ear almost touched a petal, and suddenly he heard a voice. The flower rustled softly and whispered, "Only the one who truly listens can help us remember." But as soon as he gasped and called his friends, the flower fell silent. It was almost as if it had never spoken at all. Labubu was confused but determined. That night, while the forest slept, he tiptoed back to the flower. This time, he listened with his heart, not just his ears. The flower trembled, and as moonlight touched its petals, began to sing a strange, beautiful melody. The sound made the trees sway, the stars blink brighter, and even the shadows tap their feet. But a gust of cold wind swept through. It was the Shadow Weaver, who loved secrets enough to steal them. He swirled around the flower, trying to muffle its song. Labubu knew he had to protect this rare magic. With quick thinking, Labubu blew a bubble from his special bubble wand, one that glowed with the color of fireflies. Pop! The bubble burst, scattering golden dust in the wind. The dust glittered brighter, chasing away the Shadow Weaver's gloom. But the flower was still frightened, and her music grew faint. Labubu sat beside her, and without words, hummed a tune he'd once learned from a lullaby in a dream. The melody reminded the flower of every wish, every shared secret, and every forgotten promise of the forest. At last, the flower sang loud and clear, her petals glowing like rainbow lanterns in the night. As the music poured out, the trees remembered how to weep with joy. The rivers danced, and the stones rolled softly, making way for new paths. When Labubu's friends arrived, drawn by the music, Makoko gasped and said, "The whispering flower! It vanished 100 moons ago." Zimomo blinked. "It only sings for those who answer kindness with silence." And Chibi, the smallest, simply picked up the song in her own voice, soft at first, then brave and bright. The next morning, the whispering flower was gone. But sometimes, when the forest is especially quiet, Labubu swears he can hear its melody again. And who knows? Maybe the next adventure is already waiting, just out of sight. Do you ever listen for secret songs in the rustling leaves? Perhaps you too will find a whispering flower one day.